Hello, my name is Sylvester Bowie and I'm a social worker. And it is July 4th, 2020. It is Independence Day in America. It's a day when people fly the flag, have barbecues, get together. But the year 2020 is a little different. We are in the throes of a pandemic, a coronavirus pandemic called COVID-19. And we're also in the midst of an epidemic, a racial epidemic that resulted from, this was a last straw when George Floyd was murdered. We all saw it on our screens as a police officer knelt on the neck for 8 minutes, the neck of George Floyd for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So this has become a year of reckoning, and this Independence Day celebration is one that really does force us to reflect on what it means. It was on this day 244 years ago that some Americans gained their independence from the great colonizer, Great Britain. And for African Americans, it would take another 99 years before they were freed. And for the black population of Texas, it would even be 2 more years as they receive word of their freedom on Juneteenth. That would be June 19th in 1867. And this year, 2020, Juneteenth has come into focus also, as a lot of people are being made more aware of the import of the celebration of June 19th, when the last group of Black Americans were informed of their freedom. So it took 101 years after the tolling of the bells in Philadelphia, that city of brotherly love, where Americans have always prided themselves as a country that stands for freedom. But from the very inception of this great experiment called the American way, freedom has always eluded some. In 1935, the great American poet Langston Huges wrote the poem, "Let America be America again. Let America be America again." It was a voice crying out for those who were not the beneficiaries of the great refrain sounded by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., "Let freedom reign. Let freedom reign." This American Independence Day 2020 is certainly a time for reflection on what it means to be free in America, what independence means. Let freedom reign. Douglas said, "Fellow citizens, I'm not wanting to respect for the fathers of this republic. The signers of the Declaration of Independence were brave men. They were great men too, great enough to give frame to a great age. It does not often happen to a nation to raise at one time such a number of truly great men. The point from which I'm compelled to review them is not certainly the most favorable, and yet I cannot contemplate their great deeds with less than admiration. They were statesmen, patriots, and heroes. And for the good they did and the principle they contended for, I will unite you to honor their memory." Fellow citizens, pardon me, allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I or those I represent to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in the Declaration of Independence? Are they extended to us? And am I therefore called upon to bring a humble offering to the nation, the national altar, and to confess to the benefit and express devout gratitude for the blessing resulting from your independence for us? Say it with a sense of disparity between us. I'm not included within the pales of your glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveal the immeasurable distance between us. Fredrick says, who to the slave is the 4th of July? Would to God, both for your sake and ours, that an affirmative answer would be truly returned to the question. Then would my task be light, and my burden easy and delightful. For who is there so cold that a nation's sympathy would not warm him? Who so obdurate and dead to the claim of gratitude that would not thankfully acknowledge such priceless benefit? Who so stolid and selfish and would not give his voice to swell the hallelujah to a nation's jubilee when the chains of servitude have been torn from his limbs? I am not that man. In a case like that, the dumb might eloquently speak and the layman leap as an hart. But such is not the state of the case. Such is not the state of the case. I say it with a sad sense of disparity between us. I am of glorious anniversary. I am not included within the pale of glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessing in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your father is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought light and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. You may rejoice, but I must mourn. So the question to us then, as this July 4th, 2020 is celebrated, what does this independence mean? Independence should mean freedom. It should mean a time of rejoicing. But with 2.3 million people incarcerated in our jails, can they celebrate this day of freedom? With more millions on parole and somehow tied up in the criminal justice system, is this a time of freedom? When we continue to see lives snuffed out before us by law enforcement personnel operating under the color of law, who are sworn to serve and to protect, can we celebrate? Freedom. Let freedom reign. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, from high hills and mountaintop. And July 4th, 2020 should be a great time of reflection for all of us. And again, I remind us of the words of Douglas. I say it with a sense of disparity between us. I'm not included within the pale of glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. Let freedom reign. Let freedom reign. July 4th, Independence Day in America, 244 years and counting. Let freedom reign.